Looking for a last-minute Christmas gift for someone you love? Well, we've got just the thing, and we're going to teach you how to make it. Welcome to the 12 days of local love. Local love for the holidays, everybody. Welcome back to Local Love, everybody. We hope you're enjoying the 12 days of local love. We thought we could help you guys make something special for someone you love, even if you're a beginning crocheter. So I picked something very simple. It is a coffee cup cozy. So if you know anybody that drinks tea or coffee, then almost anybody could use this and carry it around with them to Starbucks even. So this is great. We're going to go over the stitches we're going to be using. There's only 3. There's the slip stitch, the single crochet, and the double crochet. And I will be going into detail on how to do those stitches in the video. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologize because some of the pictures are out of frame, but I am going to have details on the full pattern in the description below. I hope you enjoy, and happy holidays. Hey everybody, it's Amanda from Local Love. We are going to do some crocheting for our art time today. So we're going to start off. You can use whatever color yarns you want for your projects. I am simply going to be doing this in Christmas colors. We have red, we have white, and of course we have green, and I think the green will show up well enough as I show you the stitches, and if not, well, I may have to figure that out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off to show you how to start crocheting if you've never done it. So today we're going to be doing a cute little, basically it's a little, I don't know how it's going to show up on the video there, but there you go. It's going to be a Granny's Cup Cozy. So basically it's the granny stitch, which is really easy. So if you're a beginner crocheter, this is a good choice for you. All right, so basically you're just going to wrap it around in a loop. And we're going to go ahead and cross this other loop back here. And you're going to put your needle. Now me, I am using a size G needle, but you can use whatever size you want your cozy to be. So if you use a little, a little smaller needle, then it's going to come out smaller and so forth. Now I tend to be pretty big, so this might even be too big for a cozy for my actual cup, but we'll see how it works out. All right, so we're going to start off with some basic stitches. So we've got this stitch, which is where we begin any crocheting at all, okay? I don't know what else got on here, but that's okay. So basically what we're going to start off with, though, is I'm going to teach you how to do a chain. Now, chain is the beginning of any crochet pattern that you have. So it's pretty simple. You take your needle, you put it in this little loop you made. You yarn it over. That's what we call this, yarning over. You just basically take the yarn and put it underneath the yarn string that you're holding, okay? You always want to have a little bit of a tail as well, just to be sure everything's okay. So we're going to go ahead and yarn over, and it's real simple. Now you just pull it through this loop you made. Look at that, you just chained. So now you're going to do this. For this pattern, we're going to do it 24 times. Okay, so this is 24 chains, and you can kind of get a better look at what the chains actually look like. Let's put it in the light here for you as well. It's pretty simple. That's what it looks like. This is the back, this is the front. All right, so now what we want to do is we're going to do our next stitch, which is called a slip stitch. Now this is super easy. Basically, we need it to loop, right? Because we want it to go around our coffee cup. So what we're going to do is make a circle. And it sounds hard, but it is actually super easy and one of the easiest stitches we have next to the chain. So you're going to go back to this first chain we made. Yep. Let me make sure that I am not twisting it. We want it to be on the same side here. And we are going to poke our needle through just like that. All right, so you're poking it through there. You're yarning over. We're going to pull through not only that stitch, but the original one. There you go. And that makes this cool loop that you now have. All right, so basically, like I said, you pull it through both stitches and you end up with this loop. And it's very important that you make sure that everything is the same height. You don't want it to get twisted and have it like that, because then it'll come out all crooked. So you want to make sure that when you're done, you can run your hand through here and it's front and front and front. You know what I mean? Everything's on the front side. You don't want it to be twisted at all to show the back side. Okay, so now that we've got it all straight and ready, you just want to make sure that this full ring is going to be the same. And so you want to be super careful when you take your next stitches, because we're going to move right into making it now that we've shared those stitches with you. And I'll share new stitches as we go along. So you don't want this to be twisted at all. You want it to all show you on the outside that initial chain, because see, this would be the inside. You don't want it to be that. You want it to be the outside. So we're going to continue on. So we've got 24 chains, and then we did a slip stitch to join them back to the original chain that we started with. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to chain one, just one time, just like that, what we already showed you, right? And it doesn't count as an extra stitch, and you'll understand what I mean as we go along. Now we're going to learn how to do a single crochet, and we're going to do this one all the way around this ring. So let's do it. So a single crochet, you're going to put it into this stitch, which is the very next stitch. You're going to pull in that loop, and we're going to just like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you again. So you can see where your stitch went in right there when you did the single crochet. So here's what we're going to do it again. We're going to stick it through here, which is the very next, and you can see right now there's no stitch in there. So we're going to stick it in there. Now we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull it through, and then we're going to yarn through both of them. And it makes a stitch like this. And we're going to do this all the way around this ring. All right, so let's do that. Alright, so as you can see, it's making a little loop, and it's straight. We want to make sure it stays straight. That's the back side. This is actually the front side. Alright, so that is the end of our first ring. Now we just have to finish it off. We're going to slip stitch it again back into this first stitch from the previous, so that it joins in. And now we have a perfect little ring that is all connected, and as you can see, the front and the back are facing the correct directions. That is very important if you don't want it to get twisted. All right, that was row number 1. Okay guys, so we're going to start row 2. So here we are, we've done our slip stitch, we've got our little ring here. We're ready to get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to chain 2. Just like that. Super easy, right? Now, after we do that, this is going to count as the first stitch in our row. So let me show you what I mean. So now what we have to do is we are also going to do 2 double crochets in this same stitch. How's a double crochet? So we're going to show you how that goes. First, you're going to yarn over. We're going to put it in to our first stitch. We're going to yarn over again, and then we're going to pull it through, and then you take and yarn over a third time, and you pull it through 2, yarn over again, and pull it through 2 more. See, it makes a nice kind of longer stitch there. Okay, so we are checking that out. Okay, so now we're going to do it again. So we yarn over into the same exact stitch you just did that one. It's got to be the same one. Yarn over again, and you're going to pull it through, and you'll have 3 loops on your needle. See them? All 3. 1, 2, 3. Now you yarn over again, you pull through the first 2. Now you have 2 loops. You yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. And as you can see, it's making kind of a little truffle here, like a little, you know, it's a different type of stitch, kind of like what you see on typical granny squares, where they cluster them together. So that first chain we did with the 2 chains acts like one of these stitches. So now you see it looks like we have 3 stitches in that one space. So now what we're going to do is we're going to skip 2. Okay, so how do you tell where the stitches are? You can see these little V's at the top. These are stitches where this little V is. So 1, 2, we're going to skip those 2. We're going to go into the next stitch over here. And we're going to, oops, sorry, before we do that, we're going to yarn over. We're going to skip these 2. We're going to go into this 3rd stitch. And we're going to yarn over. And again, we're going to do double crochets. So do 2 and 2. Now we're going to do 2 more of these. So we yarn over again. We go through that same hole. That's important. You got to go through that same exact hole. Yarn over, pull it back through. So now you have the 3 loops on here. You're going to do through the first 2, and then yarn over again and through those second 2. Okay, so you see it made like a little gap here, and you've got some pattern. We've got 1 more to do. And again, we're going to go right back through this exact same hole that we made the other 2. So we're going to do it like that. Through the first 2 and through those second 2. And that's what it starts to look like, just like this. This is the right side, this is the wrong side. Okay, now you're going to continue that all the way around. So you're going to skip 2. Let's go ahead and yarn over. We're going to go 1, 2, we don't want you, and then we're going to go into that one, and we're going to do that double crochet. That's what this is called, double crochet, all the way around. We're going to do 3 and in that hole every time that we skip those 2 stitches. We're going to stay and do 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And see, you start having a little pattern where it makes kind of a little hole here and a little cluster. Just going to slip stitch into there, and look at this, we got a little cuff kicking here, right? Pretty easy so far. And of course you can always go back and watch this again if you missed anything. And of course I'm going to also let you know where you can find this pattern. It is not my pattern. It does belong to Black Rose Stitches, and she is on Pinterest, so make sure you follow Black Rose Stitches on Pinterest, and definitely check her out, and make sure you look at her information there and follow her and let her know how much you liked her pattern or not. She's got other great stuff too, so make sure you check her out. Okay, So now we're getting ready to start row 3, but I'm not using this color. So what I'm going to do, I should have brought scissors. Is I'm going to disconnect it. I've already done my slip stitch. So now I am just going to pull it through, tighten it up a little bit. And at this point, if you want to go ahead and start feeding it in so that it's not in your way, you can do that too. Just feed it through to the other side so it's not in your hair. And you're gonna work all these ends in later, and I'll show you what that means as well. But now it's a little less in our hair, but this is where we're at. So now we need to get our next color, which I'm gonna use red today. So let's get our red ready. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start our next row. This is gonna be row number 3, and we are going to start where we left off, which you'll see a little, kind of a little tail where that is, right here in between this cluster of 6 stitches that we made. But as you can see, it's coming right along. We've made our little cuff here. So what we're gonna do now is, because we're gonna switch to red yarn, this is where it gets a little interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this red yarn right up against it. We'll leave a little bit of a tail here. I'm going to print my needle through, and I'm just going to pull it up, and that's going to end up being my loop here. So now we want to hold on to this tail until we get a couple stitches in though, because we don't want it to come unraveled, and we want to have a little bit of a tail there. All right, so here we go. For round 3, it's pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and chain 2. And you can tighten that up a little bit by holding that loop or that thread a little bit harder. Kind of hard to do that and tighten the top one, but you can do it. All right, so now we're going to yarn over and go into this same hole and do a double crochet like we did before, where we had the 3 loops, and then we do 2 loops, and then we do 2 more. See, it's starting to come along. Now we're going to yarn over again and do 1 more. And we're going to do the 2, and we're going to do the 2. Now, going on from there, we're going to go into each of these spaces that we've created all the way around, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. So let's do that. So we're going to go ahead and yarn over and go into this space, pull that loop through, take in 2, and take in 2. And as you can see, it's adding that red in there beautifully. So we're going to do that another 2 times into this space, and then we're going to continue it all the way around. So we'll let you know what to do once you've gotten that done. Okay, so now that we've made it all the way around, you can see our little pattern working out here. What we're going to do next is we are going to slip stitch to the beginning of the double crochet over here, across the next 2 stitches, it says. So we're going to slip stitch it right there. So we'll slip stitch it by pulling this through. And it says to do it in the second one, so we'll do that as well. All right. I like to pull my yarn to the inside so it's out of my way, but you know, we're going to get to that and work them in eventually. So now we're going to do the next several rows that way. All right, and of course, let me just take a look here. All right, so now I'm going to switch to white because I want it to look festive. So we're gonna go with white. Let me get some white out here. All right. So we got our white yarn, and we are going to do what we did last time, which is come over here where the stitch starts, and we are going to go ahead and pull it through, and we're going to just do what we did before, which is pull this in. We're going to hold this white tail here so we don't lose it, and so it's not too loose as well. We don't want it to be giant or it won't fit. Now you can also use a bigger needle if you need to get a bigger one. We're using a size G, so depending on how tight or how small your coffee cup is, you might have needed a larger crochet hook. I mean, not needle, sorry. Okay, so this is going to be a chain 2. Slow this down. Alright. That was a 1 chain. Let's get another one in there. There we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and do what we did last time, which is 2 double crochet here. That first chain 2 acts as a double crochet stitch for our first one there. And this will give us that little cluster of 3 stitches that we've become very familiar with, right? Alright, so now we're going to go around this by doing 3 double crochets just like we did on the previous row. Now we're just going to go around to these spaces like we did in the last one and do 3 double crochet in each of the spaces. Very easy, very quick. You'll have this knocked out in no time once you get the hang of it. Okay guys, so now we did complete those other 2 rows. There were 3 rows like this all the way around. They were identical. And now we're going to switch back to green. So you can see we got our green ready to go here. And we are ready to pull it through just like we've been doing on each of our other rows. Okay, so let's see what we do next. This is going to be for row 6. So we pull it through and it says to go ahead and chain 2. Okay, and this counts as the first double crochet just like it's been doing. Now we're going to go ahead and do our 2 double crochet like we've been doing. I feel like it's going to be pretty much the same all the way around, but we're going to check anyway. And then 1 more. There we are. Okay, looks a little fat, doesn't it? Okay, now we're going to go to the next one, and it says to 3 double crochet in the next space and all the way around. So yes, it's going to be identical to the previous ones. We're going to go in the spaces just like we've been doing and do our double crochet, the 1 and the 2, just like this, where we yarn over and pull through and pull through. Yarn over, push through, yarn over, and then 2, yarn over, and then 2. Yeah, just like we've been doing. And we're going to do that in each of the spaces that we've left behind here doing the previous stitches. So here we go. We'll work our way around. And as you can see, it's sort of looking like a cuff there, like we want it. That didn't change much at all. So we'll look at where we're going with 7 next. Okay, so we're going to do our chain 1. And then, if you'll remember, we're going to go back to single crochet. And I'm going to remind you how that works. Alright, so we're going to push it through, yarn over, pull out, and that's when we do hold on, let me just make sure this is as tight as I can make it here. And go ahead and pull through. All right, let me show it to you again. We're going to go into this one. We're not yarning over first. We're just going to go in and then yarn over and then pull through. And that's the single crochet, and we're going to do that all the way around. Every single stitch till we get back around. Okay, and then to end off this entire project, we're just going to slip stitch it back into the beginning single crochet that we originally made on this row. Trying to figure out why it won't tighten up. There it goes. Alright, so we're just going to put our needle through there. We are going to slip stitch. We're going to pull this through from here to here, tighten it up a little bit. All right, and now we're going to finish it off. This time we can finish it off. And to finish it off, guys, a couple ways you can do it, but what I do is I keep the loop and then I just pull this through it and tighten it up. Now, you don't have to do it that way. There are a bunch of other ways you can look online to find. That's just the way that I do it. And there we are. Now, there's all these strings. You don't want to just cut them right off. Now, you can cut them shorter, but what you want to kind of do is find a similar color to what string we're looking at and just kind of pulling them through. And you want to do that a few times before you plan on cutting them off. You don't want to you don't want to cut them too short and then them decide to unravel. You want to make sure that they're wrapped inside some of these stitches so that they aren't going anywhere. And I suggest ending on the inside. So see, like I just basically kind of went back and forth for a minute there, and now I'm going to pull it back through here. You could do it your own way, but this is just how I'm doing it on this project. And now I'm going to find some stitches on the inside here, and I'm going to try to get them through it, and I feel like we can cut it off there. And yes, that one's done. And you're just going to continue to do that with all of these until they're all looped in. You want to do the red and the red, of course, and the white and the white. You don't want them crossing over and causing a problem with your colors. It didn't sound very real, but in crochet that's how it works. And then you just kind of make sure that it's under some stitches, just like we did with the last one, so that you can even, maybe even wrap it around a stitch and then wrap it around another one. You don't want it to be too bulky, but anything that's going to be bulky, you want to make sure it's going to be on the inside. You don't want to have it bulking out here where you can see it on the outside. I am having trouble getting my needle in there. There we go. Okay. You can just put it right there. And it's up to you how many times you decide you want to do it. I like to pull it through a few times so I can be sure it's not going anywhere. Alright guys, so this is the finished product. Obviously I've got some threads to take off yet, but you get the idea. You can put it on your coffee cups like this type, where it's got the tall top, or you can put it on, one of those ones you get from a Starbucks or a local coffee shop, and use it for that. And if you bring this with you, then they don't have to put the little collars on them, and they can save those. Hence, we don't use more paper, etc. So if you bring one of these with you, so it makes a very nice gift in that respect. It's very cute, and you can put whatever colors you want. I did it in the Christmas colors. It's the first time I attempted this pattern. And let me know what you guys thought of our art time video today. And other than that, guys, check us out. Look at all our other 12 days of local love stuff. and we'll be back before you know it with even more great videos. Peace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with all your friends.
And hit that bell so you know when we have a new video.